Retired Army General H.R. McMaster was President Trump's national security advisor in 2017 and 2018. Before that, he served in Afghanistan as a senior military commander. General, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Anthony. Good to be with you.
Is it your belief, General, that we should not have left Afghanistan?
Absolutely, and I think you can just see that based on the tragedy that's unfolding before our eyes. And of course, we're seeing a humanitarian catastrophe, Anthony, but it's worse than that. It's going to affect our security, it's going to affect our reputation in the world, and it's going to strengthen the jihadist terrorists who we went to Afghanistan to defeat after the most devastating terrorist attack in history on September 11th, 2001.
General, if you go back through three presidencies, they all wanted to leave Afghanistan. The American public does not support us being there. But you say we talked ourselves into defeat in Afghanistan. What do you mean?
Well, I'll tell you, Anthony, we've had three presidents in a row tell us it is not worth it. But I think what we're seeing today is that the cost of our precipitous withdrawal far exceeds the cost of a sustained and sustainable commitment there. I mean, Anthony, who knows what the number would be? 8,500, 3,500 troops. But what was important about beyond the numbers is that Afghans were bearing the brunt of their fight, right, to preserve the freedoms that they've enjoyed since we helped them defeat the Taliban in 2001. But they were also fighting for us, for all humanity, on a modern-day frontier between barbarism and civilization against jihadist terrorists who are the enemies of all humanity.
Are you suggesting then we should effectively have a permanent force in Afghanistan? Is that your belief?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, Anthony, are we still in South Korea? Right? We have 30,000 troops in South Korea. We had 3,500, 2,500 troops most recently in Afghanistan, who, as I said, were enabling the Afghans to bear the brunt of the fight against our common enemies. And the cost of that was minuscule, and it was sustainable. Look at the cost now to the Afghan people, to the world, to humanity. And what was it worth it, right? We can cry all the crocodile tears we want, Anthony, about, Afghan women. But if they don't have the security to prevent, these criminals, these jihadist terrorists use a perverted interpretation of Islam to justify their criminal acts, then what can you do? You can't do anything without that kind of fundamental security.
But General, I mean, if you look at South Korea, I mean, in Korea, the people in control there want us there. The difference in Afghanistan is that there's a large element of the country that doesn't.
Did you see the images of people running, next to that C-17 aircraft? Did they want us there? Or did they want the Taliban there? I think this is really a false narrative. We did everything we could to deliver psychological blows to the Afghan government and the armed forces on our way out, right? We began to negotiate with these criminals in Qatar without the Afghan government. What did that do for the legitimacy of the Afghan government? We made concession after concession. We forced them to release 5,000 of the most heinous people on earth who returned immediately to the battlefield and began to again victimize the Afghan people. I mean, I don't know. Do you think the Afghan people are welcoming the Taliban under these conditions? I don't think so. Many of them have accommodated with them because why? They looked over their shoulders and said, who's got our back? And we said, not us. We're leaving.
But a lot of Americans would look at this, General, and say we spent 20 years there, billions of dollars trying to build up their army, which collapsed in a matter of days.
Okay, Anthony, we withdrew 2,500 troops. How many are there now, right? So wars don't end when one party decides to disengage. The Taliban, al-Qaeda, which is completely intertwined with the Taliban, didn't say, oh, hey, the Americans aren't here anymore. Let's just stop the jihad. So we have our own narrative, our narcissistic, self-referential narrative about ending the endless wars. But hey, guess what? Wars don't end when we leave, and our enemies are fighting an endless jihad.
It certainly is a scary situation there right now. General McMaster, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Anthony.